Okay, as you heard from Steve, what's the status of the current eruption activity and flow activity? Based on, as you said, so difficult to forecast with any certainty what's going to be the flow path, we're going to continue to be as proactive as we can with keeping you informed as well as taking the necessary steps. One is last evening, some of you in the Pahoa Street area, as well as down in the lower areas, may have been contacted door to door by our CERT team and Red Cross. And that's just to let everyone know that, again, we're watching it. We'll let you know if an evacuation is necessary. It's not necessary at this time based on the current flow rates. We did see a slowdown today. We'll continue to monitor that. But it was just to verify, again, with everyone, if you need any assistance or have any special needs, if there's an evacuation order coming forward, that we maintain that close contact with you. So we did that yesterday evening. So again, thank you for being patient and answering questions for both Red Cross and our CERT. It's just going to be helpful for us if we do need to move towards an evacuation. As Steve pointed out, there's definitely concerns with the uncertainty of the flow path, because if it comes down along or on Pahoa Street, there's some critical infrastructure. Helco's main transmission line runs down that particular corridor. So we're working very closely with Helco. They're looking at ways to protect, again, their infrastructure there, as well as contingency plans if they lose that. I think we can all take some assurance in what has happened so far that the agencies and departments are all working very hard to sustain services, utilities, everything. If you saw what happened on Pahoa Street with Helco losing a pole but maintaining uninterrupted service, they put in a steel pole, they extended the height of the wires. They've been working very hard to provide for uninterrupted service. With the, yes, so thank you, Helco. And they've brought in what resources they have available to possibly raise heights elsewhere. They've been today working very hard on securing some of the anchor systems up on the corner of Pahoa Street. In the event the flow comes in that direction, they'll have security of their poles and service there. The water department, if you've ever driven on Pahoa Street, there is a large water tank, a gravity feed system that provides water to some of you as customers. The water department, again, in anticipation and uncertainty of where this flow would go, had already established alternate water supplies. The well system here behind the school, as well as the source coming from the Keonepoko area. So there should be no interrupted water service going forward, even if that particular water site is affected. They're also looking at protecting the well itself there by putting a similar type of protective barriers around it with aggregate and cinder. In the event it is affected, the ability to go back and reestablish that well in the future. So they are doing what they can also to provide for uninterrupted service. So again, everybody's working very hard, and appreciate your understanding with the difficulties that HVO is having with forecasting the flow path. We will definitely keep you informed. We'll definitely stay very close in contact with residents that may be affected. One thing you may have seen too with the one house we lost on Monday. It's our goal to work with each and every resident, if you are threatened or your property is threatened, to make sure that you have the opportunity to document what happens, to observe what happens, provided it's safe. And again, part of the closing process. We hope we don't lose any more structures, but if that happens, we're going to work with each and every resident to allow for the process together. We'll go through it. Again, we hope we don't lose any more structures, and we'll just watch what happens. Some of the burning that you saw on the slides from Steve, most of it is vegetation, but as it's well known to everyone, some of the burning is on the asphalt in the transfer station. We are monitoring the air quality. So far, the particulate counts that we're seeing, Department of Health has currently 2 air monitors in place in the community, one at the Haas School and one at the Pahoa School. They're going to be putting up a 3rd air quality monitoring station down in Leilani. We know that sometimes during the evening with the different wind patterns, the corridor from here down to Leilani, down to Kalapana seems to get hit very hard with smoke conditions throughout the night. So we are monitoring the particulate counts, which is the particles that are in the air that are suspended and may pose health issues. So far those counts are not within any range that would result in any health problems. But for those that may be sensitive or have respiratory problems, again, the best thing you can do is remain indoors, limit your outdoor activity, and if need be, and if it's possible within your means to maybe move out of the area temporarily while the smoke conditions are high, and then come back when it improves. Because we're going to see southern wind type patterns for the next few days, which means the wind's going to be blowing all the smoke towards Ainaloa, HPP, Keao, and all in that direction. So there will be higher volumes of smoke or higher presence of smoke, and not only smoke from what's happening here, but also from the VOG at both of the vents. When we get a southerly wind component, the VOG is really heavy in the areas from here all the way through to Hilo. So again, we're expecting southerly wind going forward for the next few days. As far as the transportation or the road issues, again, we're reopened the post office road to two-way traffic. Again, appreciate everybody's patience with that. Again, we're trying to just do things in a manner that first ensures the safety of everyone. And again, we're going to try to work to making things as least inconvenient and minimize the impact on the community. We know many of the businesses were suffering because of the alternate traffic pattern and limited flow through town, so hopefully this might provide some relief, because Pahoa is a thriving town and we want to keep it that way, and if we can minimize the impact and continue the businesses to be operational and provide everything from food to services in here, we want to do that. So again, we apologize for that inconvenience. As far as the remaining closure of the village road, right now it's still possible to have a breakout that's close enough that would require a reclosure of that road. And sometimes it's difficult to reclose something once we open it. So if you can, again, bear with us for a little while longer. If and when it's safe to do so, we will. And I'll just close it. Lastly, we do get inquiries from people wanting to go and see the lava and asking us, why don't we allow the viewing? Well, a couple of things. One, it's on private property, so we want to respect the private landowners. Two is there's still a lot of hazards that Steve has shared last week, and I'm sure he had it in his slides tonight. We're still seeing methane explosions, fairly good size, that are throwing projectile rock in many directions. We don't want to see anybody get hurt. We also have the utility companies, Helco, working on their poles, so there's a lot of heavy trucks, big equipment on the road, which, again, we need for them to be able to do their job safely and not cause any problems or interfere with their operations. And lastly, with the smoke at the transfer station, if you were anywhere nearby, close to the site, you would see that it wouldn't be safe to be putting people there to observe the lava flow. But as we've been telling you before, if and when it's safe to allow for public viewing of the flow, we definitely support that. So again, we will be trying to move in that direction when it's safe to do that, because this is a very significant event. It's a very historical event, hopefully not a tragic event. And up until now, we haven't had any injuries or problems, and we'd like to keep it that way. So again, thank you, and we will be working in that direction. So thank you.